We will now move into an international municipal perspective, focusing on how cities can create more inclusive and responsible environment for both people and pets. It's our pleasure to welcome Ms. Rosalynn Fergusson from Brisbane City Council, Australia. Ms. Rosalynn is an experienced policy and legislation specialist who leads regulatory and governance initiatives within Brisbane City Council. Her areas of expertise include community safety, animal management, policy development, and legislative reform. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Rosalynn Fergusson.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started on the information in regards to pets in high-rise and urban environments, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background of Brisbane City Council. Can't see that myself with my glasses on. Brisbane is Australia's third largest city with a population of 1.32 million people. We are the largest local government in Australia by population, led by a Lord Mayor and 26 councillors that represent different wards. They are responsible for making decisions that shape our city's future, and they are committed to sustainability and environmental protection. The Brisbane economy is valued at $201 billion and accounts for 49% of the economic output within Queensland. We are a diverse and multicultural city. We have 31.7% of Brisbane residents that were born overseas, and 18% of those speak a language other than English at home. Today, Brisbane is a safe, vibrant, green and prosperous city valued for its friendly and optimistic people and enjoyable lifestyle. Brisbane benefits from a rich biodiversity and is home to more than 800 species of wildlife, 2,500 species of native plants, and many thriving areas of bushland, parks and waterways. In 2032, Brisbane will be the host city of the Olympic and Paralympic Games. The primary legislation that directly relates to the regulation of animals in Brisbane is the Animal Management Cats and Dogs Act 2008 and the Animals Local Law 2017. You may hear me refer to these as both the Act and the local law throughout this presentation. The Act is Queensland's main animal management law. It requires local councils to promote responsible pet ownership and provides a framework for the identification, registration and management of cats and dogs across the state. At the local level, Council's local law regulates how animals are kept within the city. The focus is on protecting community health, safety and neighbourhood amenity, whilst also encouraging responsible pet ownership. Together, these laws establish the core requirements for pet ownership and provide council with the enforcement tools to manage animal-related issues in the community. The supporting frameworks are also important because they influence where and how people can keep their pets. The Body Corporate and Community Management Act 1997 supports pet ownership in apartment and high-rise developments. It prevents unreasonable pet bans across the city and helps body corporates manage pets through reasonable conditions rather than outright prohibitions. Similarly, the Residential Tenancies and Rooming Accommodation Act 2008 support pet ownership in residential properties and rental properties. It requires landlords to reasonably consider pet requests and provides tenants with clear process for obtaining approval to keep dogs and cats. As Brisbane continues to grow, these supporting frameworks play a very important role in enabling responsible pet ownership while balancing the needs of neighbours, property owners and the broader community. As apartment living and high-rise living increases across Brisbane, access to quality public spaces has become increasingly important for both residents and their pets. Brisbane City Council currently maintains more than 160 dog off-leash areas across the city, forming a significant network of pet-friendly recreational spaces. These spaces are recognised as important community infrastructure that supports both residents and their pets by providing safe places for dogs to exercise, train and socialise. The majority of these parks are fenced, but we do have some of them that are unfenced as well. These parks benefit the wider community. They also encourage people to be active outdoors, meet other residents and build social connections within their neighbourhoods. For residents living in apartments and higher density developments, access to these spaces is particularly important because many do not have large private backyards for their pets to exercise. Good urban design also means creating spaces that work for everyone. Successful dog off-leash areas are designed for shared use and typically include clear signage, waste disposal facilities, seating, shade, drinking water, and appropriate separation from other recreational users. These features help create a safe and comfortable and welcoming environment for both dog owners and the broader community. Increasingly, dog off-leash areas are being planned as part of larger park designations rather than as standalone facilities. By locating fenced dog off-leash parks alongside playgrounds, picnic areas, walking trails, and other recreational spaces, Brisbane City Council has created multi-purpose community hubs that cater to a wide range of users. The fencing helps manage interactions between dogs and other park visitors, whilst allowing families, pet owners, and residents to enjoy the same public spaces together. Brisbane also provides designated foreshore dog off-leash areas along Moreton Bay. This gives dog owners access to unique waterfront recreation experiences whilst balancing environmental protection and community use. These spaces were carefully selected after extensive research to identify locations where migratory birds do not tend to feed, so that they can visit our foreshores in safe and protected areas. The next slide, I'm actually just going to show you a quick video that we utilised when we first released these foreshore dog off-leash areas, just to help provide further education to our pet owners to ensure they're responsible and not allowing their dogs to chase those migratory birds. Have we got the sound?
Hi, I'm Jo from SOS Dogs, here with some tips on how to use our beautiful foreshore dog off-leash areas. Brisbane City Council has 3 trial foreshore dog off-leash areas located at Manly, Nudgee Beach and Sandgate. These areas are now open to give you even more opportunities to exercise your dog in the places that make our city great. Walking your dog in a foreshore off-leash area is great exercise for your dog and you. Being able to control your dog is essential for the safety and enjoyment of all users of these shared spaces. This includes people, other dogs and wildlife. Getting your dog ready to be off-leash starts at home with exercise and discipline. This builds trust, respect and love from your dog. This in turn gives you that wonderful gift of a loyal, happy and balanced dog. Affection to a dog is not what you may think. Affection to a dog means exercise and structure. They love to experience the world and have a strong connection to us. We can achieve this by building better bonds with our dogs and creating rules, boundaries and limitations on a daily basis. Dogs love exercise and the walk is a dog's highest level of affection. Mornings are always the best time to do this activity so you can achieve a happy, calm dog through the day. Spending time at an off-leash area is all about your dog, not you. Be alert, watch your dog. It's certainly not the time to be engrossed in your mobile phone. Help your dog work out what's acceptable in an off-leash area. Just like teaching kids, this is a space where your dog needs your help and guidance. Move around the dog off-leash area to avoid claimed space. This makes for a better experience for your dog. Practice taking your dog to an off-leash area when they are calm. This isn't a time or place to create excitement before you go. This will set your dog up for a better social experience. Think of a dog off-leash area like a cafe for dogs. Not every dog is suited to being off-leash. If your dog has a strong prey instinct to chase other animals, use a leash. Sometimes you may need a little extra help. A reputable dog behaviour expert or a training workshop can certainly assist. Let's work together to make our foreshore dog off-leash areas great spaces for everyone.
So when animals are in public spaces within Brisbane, they must always be under effective control. In Brisbane, effective control of animals is through 2 separate legislative frameworks. Dogs are primarily managed under the Act and all other animals are primarily managed under our local law. Effective control is a key requirement that helps protect public safety, supports responsible pet ownership and allows everyone to enjoy shared community spaces. In public areas, all animals are required to be on leash. The only exemption for this is for dogs using a designated off-leash area. When using an off-leash area, owners must still remain responsible for their dogs, and dogs must remain under effective control through the voice and respond to commands from their owner at all times. If a dog cannot be controlled, it should always be returned to a leash. Together, these 2 frameworks help ensure animals can safely enjoy the community spaces and protecting public safety and neighbourhood amenity. Animal containment is another important part of responsible pet ownership and helps protect both the animal and the community. One of the key requirements for our local law is that all pet owners must provide and maintain a suitable enclosure to prevent their animals from wandering at large. These requirements apply to all animals, including dogs, cats, and livestock. Enclosures must be strong, secure, and designed to prevent the animal from escaping. The local law also requires owners to meet minimum standards that are specific to their type of animal being kept. For example, dogs must have enclosures that are suitable for the size and the behaviour of the dog. Fences should be high enough to prevent the dog from jumping or climbing, strong enough to stop it from escaping over, under or through. Gates must also be able to close and latch securely, and where necessary, additional barriers may be needed to prevent the dog from digging underneath the fence. These requirements are not just about compliance with legislation. They are practical measures that help keep pets safe and reduce risks to the wider community. Effective pet containment helps prevent animals from roaming onto roads, becoming involved in traffic incidents, or getting lost. It also reduces complaints from neighbours and limits impacts on native wildlife. For example, research into cats has identified that over 1 million native animals are killed each year from cats that roam across Australia. Well-contained pets are generally safer, healthier, and less likely to create problems within our community. As our city becomes more densely populated, pet containment becomes increasingly important. Secure fencing, dog enclosures, cat-proof fencing and catios can all help owners provide access to outdoor spaces while ensuring they remain safely contained to the property. Our legislative approach is also supported by community education and enforcement programs, creating a practical framework that promotes responsible pet ownership and protects wildlife, reduces nuisance issues, and contributes to a safer, more livable city for everyone. The legislation and policies discussed so far establish the foundation for responsible pet ownership. However, effective animal management also requires systems that allow council to monitor, regulate, and support the keeping of animals across the city. The next few slides will focus on the permit and registration frameworks that Brisbane City Council administers. These frameworks help ensure that animals are kept in ways that protect community safety, animal welfare, and local amenity. They provide council with important information about the types and numbers of animals that are being kept across Brisbane and enable us to respond effectively to community needs and emerging issues. They provide us with important information about the types, number of animals being kept in Brisbane. Sorry, I just repeated the same thing. The following slide will look at how these frameworks apply to different animal types, the purpose of the permits and registration, and how they support our responsible pet ownership while balancing the needs of our broader community. For animal permits, there are many types of pets that can be kept without a permit. Certain animals, a larger number of animals, require additional approvals from council. This helps us ensure that animals are kept in ways that are appropriate to the property and do not negatively impact on our surrounding community. Under the local law, residents can apply to keep 3 or more dogs, 4 or more cats, racehorses, and livestock in residential areas. When we talk about livestock, it includes a broad range of animals such as horses, cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, deer, poultry, emus, ostriches, peafowl, and alpacas. The permit framework recognises the changing community expectations that many residents are increasingly interested in more sustainable lifestyles, including producing their own food and maintaining a stronger connection with animals. For example, keeping poultry for egg production has become more common in urban environments. Permit assessments allow council to work directly with the residents to identify appropriate housing, containment, management arrangements for the animals being kept. By providing a regulated permit pathway, council can support these activities while ensuring they are undertaken responsibly in a way that is compatible with residential living. Importantly, these permits are not designed to prevent people from keeping animals. Instead, they provide a framework to ensure factors such as property size, enclosure design, waste management, noise, and neighbourhood amenity are appropriately considered. For dogs specifically, they are managed under the Animal Management Cats and Dogs Act. Any dog over the age of 12 weeks must be registered within the local government where they are kept. Additionally, if they change their details, such as address, phone number, or any other information such as they've sold the pet, they must notify the local government within 14 days of that change. Dog registration delivers a number of benefits for both the community and pet owners. Firstly, it helps council quickly reunite lost dogs with their owners. When a registered dog is found wandering, registration information is used to contact the owner and facilitate a faster return to home. Secondly, registration provides important information that helps council plan animal management services, monitor trends, and respond to community needs across Brisbane. Registration also supports responsible pet ownership by encouraging owners to keep their contact details up to date and maintain compliance with legislative requirements. An important part of the framework is enforcement. Council undertakes a range of activities to identify unregistered dogs and encourage compliance. These activities include investigation of complaints, routine community patrols, and follow-up of dogs identified through customer requests and animal management activities. Where a dog owner fails to register their dog, Council has enforcement powers under the Act and may issue infringement notice penalties. These measures help ensure fairness for compliant owners and support effectiveness of the registration system. Ultimately, dog registration is more than an administrative requirement. It is a key that supports responsible pet ownership, assists returning lost pets to their homes, and improves community safety and provides valuable data to help manage Brisbane's growing dog population. Microchipping in Queensland is also a requirement under the Act. All cats and dogs must be microchipped to ensure that they can be identified and reunited with their owners if they become lost or stray. The microchip contains a unique identification number and is linked to the owner's contact details in a recognised database. One of the most important benefits is the ability to quickly identify and return lost pets to their owners. This is particularly important if the animal is not registered or lives outside of our local government area. In Brisbane, we do not register cats, so that microchipping information is extremely important for us to assist in reuniting cats with their owners if they are found wandering at large. Whilst microchipping is a simple and highly effective tool, it relies heavily on owners ensuring their contact details are kept up to date with a third-party database. Rather than applying the same fee structure for all dogs, our framework uses incentives to encourage behaviours and deliver positive outcomes for our community, animal welfare, and responsible ownership. One example is the provision of the reduced registration fees for desexed dogs. This encourages desexing and helps reduce the number of unwanted litters, which can in turn reduce the demand on our animal rehoming centres. Council also provides reduced registration fees for dogs that are adopted from a council rehoming centre or a recognised organisation. This supports pet adoption and encourages residents to giving a home to an animal that's in need. At the other end of the spectrum, we have higher registration fees that apply to regulated dogs and animals that require additional management and oversight. For context, a regulated animal is one that has attacked another animal or person. These fees help recognise the additional regulatory effort involved to manage regulated animals, whilst also encouraging owners to comply with any conditions associated with keeping those animals. Our framework also recognises the important role that some animals play in supporting our people and industries. For example, guide dogs, hearing dogs, and assistance animals are still required to be registered with us, which ensures accurate records are maintained. However, no registration fees apply in these instances, in recognition of the essential service these animals provide to their handlers. Similarly, working dogs used for livestock management on farms are exempt from registration requirements. This acknowledges that these dogs perform a working function rather than being kept as a companion animal. Overall, this approach creates a fair and balanced system. It encourages responsible pet ownership and supports animal welfare outcomes that promote pet adoption and recognise the different roles that dogs play within our community.